You ever finish studying, close your book, and then 5 minutes later your brain goes, wait, what did I just read? Yeah, same. You feel like you just ran a mental marathon, and for what? Zero memory, zero retention, just a headache and a mild identity crisis. And if you've ever had that "I swear I studied this but I remember nothing" moment during a test, well, welcome to the club. We meet weekly. We forget when the meeting is, though. I remember this one time before an exam. I studied like crazy. Highlighters, sticky notes, flashcards. I even made one of those super fancy mind maps. I felt like a genius, like Einstein mixed with Hermione. The night before the test, I was confident. Then the test came. First question: define the 3 stages of memory encoding. My brain: define? Me: blank stare. I sat there feeling like my brain had gone on vacation without me. And it wasn't the first time. So what's actually happening here? Why do we forget everything after studying? Is our brain broken? Are we just bad at learning? Nope. But we might be studying the wrong way. Let's break it down. Most of us study like this. We read, then we highlight. Maybe we copy stuff down. We tell ourselves, this looks familiar, I totally got it. But here's the thing. Recognition is not the same as recall. It's like scrolling past someone on Instagram and thinking you know them in real life. Spoiler, you don't. Your brain just recognizes the content. It doesn't remember it deeply. Also, let's talk about cramming. The let me study everything in one night with 3 energy drinks and a prayer method. Sure, it can work short term, but your brain is not a sponge that just absorbs stuff when you pour enough caffeine on it. Real memory takes time, space, and, repetition. But wait, it gets trickier, because even if you do study a few days in advance, you might still forget. Why? Because the brain is kind of like your phone's storage. It keeps what it thinks is important. And guess what it deletes first? Information you never really used. So if you study something once, then never touch it again, your brain's like, cool, trash bin. Not because it hates you, but because it's efficient. And if your study method is just reading and rereading, you're not using the info, you're just looking at it. Like watching someone do push-ups and expecting to get stronger. Okay, deep breath. This isn't your fault. School never really taught us how to learn, just what to memorize. But here's the twist. Maybe you're not bad at remembering. Maybe you've just never been shown how to teach your brain to remember. What if forgetting isn't failure? It's just your brain saying, hey, I need a little help to keep this. It's not that your brain is weak. It's that your method needs a glow up. Let's talk about that. First, let's get rid of one myth. More time equals better memory. Nope. It's not about how long you study. It's about how you study. Here's the trick. Your brain remembers better when you give it space to forget, and then force it to remember again. Sounds weird, right? But that's how memory works. You forget a little. Then you try to recall. And that struggle, that's where the magic happens. It's like working out. Your muscles grow from resistance. Same with your brain. So what can we actually do to fix this? 3 things. Super simple. No expensive apps. No overnight miracles. Just real methods that work. But I'll get to those in a sec. Because first, I want to tell you what changed everything for me. There was a day I tried this new method called active recall. I closed my book after reading just 1 page, and instead of rereading it, I tried to explain it to myself like I was teaching it to a friend. Spoiler, I remembered it. Not perfectly, but way better than before. Why? Because I was using the knowledge, not just reviewing it like a to-do list. Then I combined that with spaced repetition, coming back to the same idea a few days later, forcing myself to recall it again. And suddenly, learning felt easier, like I was actually building something in my head, not just hoping it would stick. And that's when it hit me. Maybe the problem isn't us. It's the system we were taught. Cramming, highlighting, rereading. All of it feels productive, but it's just mental busy work. You're not learning, you're just looking busy. But when you start using your brain the way it was designed to learn, you stop forgetting. You stop second-guessing yourself. You start owning your knowledge. It's powerful stuff. Let me break down those 3 methods that actually work and how you can start using them today. Okay, let's break this down into 3 tools you can start using today. And don't worry, no fancy equipment, no buy my course moment, just simple stuff that actually helps your brain remember. 1. Active recall. Let's say you just read a chapter. Now, instead of flipping back and forth between your notes, close the book and ask yourself, okay, what did I just learn? Try to say it out loud. Write it down. Teach it to your cat. It doesn't matter. The point is, you're forcing your brain to pull information out instead of just pushing more in. That pulling is what strengthens the memory. It's like your brain doing a push-up. And yeah, the first few reps might be ugly. You'll forget stuff. You'll fumble. But that's the point. The struggle means you're building real connections. Number 2, spaced repetition. Here's the magic ingredient most people miss. You don't need to study something 10 times in one night. You need to study it 3 times, spaced out over a few days. Why? Because every time you forget a little, then remember again, your brain says, oh hey, this keeps coming up. Better store it somewhere safe. It's like feeding your memory little snacks over time instead of one massive buffet that leaves you sick and sleepy. Apps like Anki use this system, but you don't even need tech. You can just do it on paper. Review what you learned today, again tomorrow, then 3 days later, then a week later. Keep it light, keep it consistent. 3, interleaving, aka mix it up. Don't study one thing for 3 hours straight. Mix it up. Spend 20 minutes on one topic, then switch to another, then come back. It sounds chaotic, but your brain loves it because it has to work harder to figure out what goes where. That challenge equals better memory. Think of it like going to the gym. You don't just do bicep curls for 2 hours. You'd be ripped in one arm, but completely useless everywhere else. Interleaving builds a more flexible, connected understanding of what you're learning. Now let's be honest. Even with all these methods, there will still be days you forget. You'll stare at your notes like they were written by aliens. You'll blank out mid-sentence. You'll feel like you're failing, but you're not. Because forgetting is part of remembering. Confusion is part of understanding. You're not broken. You're in the process, and no one talks about that part. We see the straight-A student or the naturally smart person, but not the 10 ugly drafts they wrote, the hours they spent testing flashcards at 1 a.m., the moments they felt like quitting. So if you're in that messy middle, keep going. You're doing better than you think. Your brain is not a storage unit. It's a living, learning machine. You just have to treat it with a little more patience and a better strategy. So here's your tiny mission. Try active recall tonight. Use spaced repetition this week. Mix up your topics next time you study, one small change at a time. Not to become a superhuman robot genius, but to become you with just a little more clarity, focus, and confidence. And hey, if this video helped you feel a little less stuck, a little less alone, hit that subscribe button. Not just for me, but for you. Because this channel isn't about hacks or tricks. It's about growing together, one step, one lesson at a time. You got this. See you in the next one.